Welcome, everyone, to Hardcore Wrestling Radio's edition of Raw Reaction. I am your hardcore host, Rick Head, and I am joined by the hardcore crew. First, he's the son of a bitch, Andy. Andy, what's going on?
Hi, everybody. Hope you're all well.
And then over at youtube.com/Lance Moss TV, he's the incomparable Lance Moss. Lance, what's going on?
Oh, nothing much. Let's have some fun.
Well, Raw kind of opened up with more of a vignette than they're usually in the ring. Mick Foley addresses Stephanie about what happened last week when Triple H got involved and pretty much gave Kevin Owens the title. And he really questioned her integrity of whether she knew what was going on or not, and she kind of played both sides as the babyface and the heel. Andy, quick thoughts. Do you think she's in on it, or do you think it's just they got to take it in a different direction?
I think she's in on it, and it'll come out sooner than later that she's in on it as well.
Yeah, Lance, over to you.
Uh, Possibly. Actually, yes, I do, because I can see her just turning total bitch Stephanie and slapping the shit out of every damn body.
Yeah. All right. And again, yeah, Stephanie's been known to jump back and forth very quickly. So basically, there's this huge celebration, pyro going off and everything, and Kevin Owens comes out to celebrate. First time I think we've seen him in a suit, let alone a nice suit. So he comes out, and Stephanie and Mick are the outside, and they're still at odds with what's going on. So they kind of go back and forth. Seth Rollins comes down, pissed off, and starts beating the shit out of um, Kevin Owens. Stephanie wanted to suspend him indefinitely, but Mick turned him around and saying he's going to be defending, Kevin Owens will be defending the title against Seth Rollins. Um, Again, we don't know where Triple H his angle is going to go because he has a beef with Roman Reigns as well as Seth Rollins. So it's going to be very interesting. But I think it's on. Pardon me. I think it's obvious that they are pushing Seth Rollins as a babyface. Wouldn't you agree, Andy?
Yeah, it's. I don't think the WWE, since he's come back off his injury, I don't think they know what they want to do with the guy. I really don't. I feel sorry for him in a way, and I don't like him.
Well, I wouldn't say they don't know what to do with him because I think for a while before his injury, they were kind of teasing a Triple H Seth Rollins, feud. Now that he is, pretty much after last week, I think they finally decided to pull the trigger. Wouldn't you agree, Lance?
Yeah, but I kind of gotta disagree with the fact that they have Seth as a heel because he whines more than any face I've ever heard in my damn life.
Well, I think with him as a babyface, I think we're going to see him go in a totally different direction. Obviously, he faced Chris later on the night. He faced Chris Jericho. Not a bad match, but he gets the win. So it's again he fought a heel, so it's more signs of him becoming the babyface. But let's move along. As everybody knows, Sheamus and Cesaro are in the best of seven match. Now we figured last week it'd be 0-2 just to keep things interesting, but now Sheamus has defeated Cesaro for now a third time in a row. Best of seven, 3-0. Lance, are we seeing a clean sweep, or do you think we're going to see a strong comeback from Cesaro?
Well, if they were smart, they let Cesaro do a comeback to keep this going. But I'm not sure if Cesaro's actually legitimately hurt. Because if he's legitimately hurt, they have to get this over with and have him go get healthy.
You know, I'm at odds if those injuries are even legit because Andy, as you know, he had that tape on his arm. Now he's got the tape on his back. One could say, that's tape to keep his shoulder together. But if his shoulder and back was truly injured, do you think they would let him continue?
No, it's like a mark at everyone. If you've got an injury, I've always been led to believe in any kind of sport where it's a contact sport, if you've got an injury, try and if you've got a bad wrist, don't show people that you've got a bad wrist because that's a target that they're going to go for. But in wrestling, it seems as though if you've got a bad wrist, put loads of tape on it and the other opponent will attack it.
Exactly. I mean, back in the earlier years, we saw like them use like the medical tape, which was obviously a spot, so you knew that it wasn't a legit injury; it was a kayfabe injury. Um, and I think the tape, obviously, again, is making it a huge target. Let's move on though. Bailey actually defeated Charlotte, although the Dana Brooke was out at ringside and was trying to help only to cause Charlotte lose to Bailey, which she got hit with the Bailey in the belly. Not this means now she could very well be in a line for a title shot. Andy, I don't know if you'd agree with me or not. Do you think Bailey deserves a title, or do you think it's still too soon? Andy?
Interesting.
Sorry, I didn't get none of that. For some unknown reason, I lost all audio.
Well, I was referring to Bailey getting the win over on Charlotte. So, do you think
Oh
she's
yeah,
in line for a title reign or a title shot, or?
I think she's in line to win it personally because we all know that Charlotte's asked for time off, so that can't be long before they say, right, Charlotte, you can go and do whatever it is you've got to do now for 6 months.
And that's a
I
very
think
fair point.
I think Bailey's the chosen one because the crowd seem to love her that much. So.
You know what? Again, both fair points. One, she's well over the fans, and we know we've reported. There's been reports of Charlotte taking time off. I don't know if those are confirmed or if it's talk or whatever reason she would want to take the time off. So that's still a big mystery. Lance, your thoughts?
While I am a Bailey fan, I do want to hug. I think it's a little soon for them to pull the trigger. I mean, she's only had 3 matches main roster, but would they do it? Probably.
Well, I mean, let's be real about this. If you remember, when Paige first came up, she was the NXT Women's Champion, and then she won the Divas titles, which is now retired. So again, I think Bailey with the push that she's getting, Charlotte with the time off. If these rumors or reports are true, then yes, I think we're going to see a new champion.
Yeah.
Let's move on again. Now, for a long time, guys, we always saw like the big stars go against the mid carders, and for one reason or another, the mid carders might get a win out of nowhere, but then get beat, have their ass beat twice. Now we're seeing a lot of jobbers coming into the company. Andy, is this a good thing or a bad thing?
It gives them. It gives the jobbers something to look forward to because I've been on television on Raw. Tell all your friends, but I also think it's bad if they do actually come up from NXT and they job to somebody who's on the card, irrespective of whether it's John Cena or some Joe Blow who's in there. If they bring them in and they're supposed to have this vicious persona, when they come in, you're going to remember the amount of times they've been beaten on Raw in the past, and it's just not going to work. So I think in a way, it's good that they actually get some TV time, but for their character, it's bad because we'll always remember. Oh, I remember him being on a dark match on Raw, and he got his arse handed to him.
Well, let's be honest for a second. AJ Styles and Bobby Roode was in the WWE beforehand, and nobody remembers AJ Styles getting beaten until he started getting his name. You look back, and I'm like, oh my god, he was on WWE, and look where he is now. So
Yeah.
I have to disagree with you on that one. Lance, your thoughts?
Well, first, these job guys, I do not believe they are from NXT or the Performance Center. I think lately they've been like actual local talent from the places they've been.
Well, actually, to bring that in real quick, Joseph Knight says that's pretty much what they are. They're locals. They're probably not out of contract.
So that makes them never mind. It wouldn't affect them.
Yeah, so exactly, like, they could say, hey, I did a WWE match on Raw. I got my ass kicked, because...
But I got a payday.
Exactly. So, again, it also helps makes bigger matches later on down the road for those superstars that squash. So Braun Strowman did a squash, as well as Nia Jax. They're making Nia Jax to be pretty dominant, but we've seen this happen in the past where a wrestler becomes very dominant and then hits jobber status. Um, Now, I want to go on to the main event match, and it was Kevin Owens versus Sami Zayn. Their last match was supposed to be a couple of pay-per-views, and 6 to 8 weeks later, they're having another match. For me, guys, it was a very stale match. And then during Sami Zayn supposedly had an injured ankle. He could not sell it to save his life. Andy, your thoughts?
Yeah, I agree. He couldn't sell. He was limping on his foot. Now, I tell you, if you've ever got out of bed and twisted your ankle and you've fallen on the floor, have you put your bad ankle on the floor to push yourself up? No, you're going to use your good foot.
Exactly. Now, it's funny you mentioned that because a couple of weeks ago I did actually injure my left leg. I was just going down some steps. I was kind of paying attention to two fronts, not really like an idiot. I misstepped. Thankfully, only fell down, like 2 steps. But I twisted my ankle, and I had to tape it up, and I had to walk. It was a minor sprain, and I couldn't put any pressure on it. So. And even when he did, tried to sell the injury, he comes right back out and starts running and doing haluva kicks and the wheelhouse and everything else. It's like if you have an injury, that's not going to happen. Wouldn't you agree, Lance?
Yeah, I mean, as somebody of my size, my ankles kind of get shoddy sometimes. And well, you don't do that shit when if you fuck your ankle up.
Yeah. Well, long story short, Kevin Owens gets the match, gets the win. Excuse me. And then instantly, Roman Reigns comes down, does a stare down, uh, and then Chris Jericho comes down to try to back him up, so it's going to be 2-on-1. Mick Foley comes out and says, nah, that's not going to happen. He goes, Roman Reigns, you want to shot the title, you have to beat Kevin Owens next week on Raw, and then the match of Clash of Champions will be a triple threat match, which will be between Kevin Owens, Seth Rollins, and Roman Reigns. It's going to be interesting. I don't know if they are going to put him in the triple threat or if they're going to have Triple H screw over Reigns again. What do you think? Or even maybe Seth Rollins.
It's going to be a triple threat, but at the end of the day, Kevin Owens is going to win it, unfortunately.
Interesting point. Lance, would you say that Owens is going to retain, or you possibly could see him going up back to Roman Reigns, who really isn't over with the fans either way?
Oh, I am not 100% sure that they're going to make it a triple threat because somebody who's not on TV tonight because he's on his honeymoon could interfere.
You know what? And that's
costing Roman the shot.
Yeah, and I think it's because of their wedding that they kind of had the whole. It was really really heated feud between Roman Reigns and Rusev, and it just dropped off.
Yeah.
So
there's been no blow off yet.
Exactly. So if they're gonna really want to reignite that, it's gonna have to happen next week on Raw, where Rusev costs him a title shot, and then the feud continues. Overall, guys, not a bad Raw, but not a great one either. I really can't even think the match of the night. One of the better ones is probably, I'd have to say, Sheamus versus Cesaro, but that was pretty much it. Bailey, I gotta give credit to Bailey and Charlotte with their matches, but just the rest, nothing we haven't seen before, and the squash matches were nothing to speak of. Andy, your thoughts?
Yeah, I agree with best match, and I'd give it 4 out of 10. Unfortunately, I didn't think it was a good Raw. It was just an average. I thought it started off looking promising with Mick Foley and Stephanie having an argument, but nothing transpired from it.
Yeah, there were rumors that Triple H was supposed to show up. Obviously, that did not happen. Lance, over to you. Your thoughts?
The best match was probably Bailey and Charlotte, but Charlotte, if you hear this, and Dana Brooke, if y'all are going to do the noggin knocker spot, learn how to do it, because that was sloppier than all shit.
Well, that's going to wrap it up for this edition of Hardcore Wrestling Radio's Raw Reaction. I am your hardcore host, Rick Head. And if you want to hang out with us, you can hit that subscribe button to see more videos. We get shoot videos, tribute videos, a lot more. Or you can hang over with us in the group section on Facebook under the name HWR Chat Room. We want passionate wrestling fans, who can say what you want, how you want to say it. So you want that? Bring your ass over to the HWR chat room. And I'd like to thank the Hardcore crew with me for being here with me. Andy, you're over at Stoke-on-Trent. Trent, why don't you tell everybody about it?
Yeah, we're a paranormal team. If you don't know, we look for ghosts. And if you want to follow our escapade of finding or not finding ghosts, you can check us out on www.stokehaunted.com. And on that website, you can find a section on the HWR guys. And also, you can find all my contact details on there if you want to send me a personal message and insult me or whatever you want to do, whatever floats your boat.
And that's the son of a bitch way, guys. Always sending out the invitation for a good fight. Lance, you're over at youtube.com/LanceMossTV. You got, a hangout every Wednesday night. Why don't you tell the people about it?
Well, it's basically me and a group of guys, which I never know who's actually going to be in there. I've had the guys here in there quite a few times, and well, yeah, we just shoot the shit for around about 3 hours.
And with that, for the Hardcore crew, I am your hardcore host, Rick Head, saying we'll see you when